you know amber isn't an ingredient? Did you also know leather isn't just leather in fragrances? And did you also know that musk from animals is completely banned now? Hi guys, my name is Obsy. If you're new to my channel, thank you guys for stopping by once again. I know it's been a while. I filmed a YouTube video. I'm always off and on. Bear with me guys. If you're new to my channel, thanks for stopping by. I do fragrance content and a bit of lifestyle content here and there. We talk about perfumes, perfume reviews, how to make our perfumes last longer. If these are the kind of videos you're interested in, please do not leave without hitting the subscribe button, like the video, and of course share it to your friends and your loved ones. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking or busting some of the fragrance note myth in perfumery. This is one topic I've always wanted to talk about because there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the notes in fragrances. There's some times where you expect a note to smell a certain way, and when you smell it, it doesn't actually smell like that. So I'm just here to talk about the fragrance note myth in perfumery. So when we're talking about notes, we're talking about what you can smell, and usually the notes that you see on Fragrantica or even notes listed on the website is usually used to describe the smell, and that's why you see things like blood, money was used as a note. It's basically just used to describe what perfumes smell like. So the first myth I'm going to be ruling out is that amber isn't an actual ingredient. It's not an essential oil. It is usually made as an accord or from other notes like labdanum, benzoin. They're usually remade basically to smell more modern. The amber isn't an ingredient. It is an accord and is usually made from other ingredients. Musk is also one of my favorite notes, and to be even more specific, animalic musk is one of my favorite notes. Musk usually was gotten from deer. The animal musk was gotten from deer, so it's called natural deer musk. I don't know if it's still being used today, but I know that it is being banned, and so a lot of companies now have decided to make the synthetic one, or they just do like fresh musk or like the sweet musk. They're much more cruelty free now. Obviously we're not trying to kill the animals. They're much more cruelty free and also synthetic, so they are not naturally gotten from animals anymore, which is very sad and good because I feel like most of the authentic notes I've gotten from the source, like from nature. Or we can't keep killing animals, like killing it to get a particular note. It's not nice. So yeah, I think that was a good innovation, coming up with synthetic musk just so we stop killing the animals. Now the next one would be that oud is always harsh. Oud smells dirty. Oud is harsh. I feel like if you smell the real oud, you would not be able to stand. A lot of the ouds in fragrances today is not really oud. They usually mix with something to make it a little bit more wearable, sweet, more approachable. Also, you need to bear in mind that a lot of these notes or ingredients are very expensive to get naturally. So even though oud, the natural oud does exist, there's also natural oud that can be fruity, that can be sweet, that can be leathery, that can be smoky. It just depends on what you're going for. Synthetics are also used, which is also very good because of cost and consistency. For instance, if you're trying to play with a particular note for your brand, if that's your DNA or your unique selling point, knowing how to work around with oud, you might want to use a specific type of oud that is within reach, that's affordable. So actually brands just go for what they know they can consistently reproduce. Oud is not always animalic, it's not always harsh. I think these are things that people already really know. The one that really made me do this video was vanilla. Before I actually got into the in-depth knowledge of perfumery, I always used to assume that vanilla has to be sweet. It's not always sweet. Vanilla is not always creamy because we're used to vanilla ice cream, vanilla milkshake, vanilla this, vanilla that, and it always smells very creamy, gourmand, welcoming. But there is smoky vanilla. I think the vanilla I smelled in Silky Wood Elixir really changed my mind because I wasn't really getting vanilla. Actually, even Silky Wood itself by Goldfield and Banks, it wasn't smelling like sweet vanilla. It smells more smoky, more on the smoky side, and that really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So yeah, vanilla is not always desserty, it's not always sweet. It can also be very smoky, it could be leathery, it could be spicy, just depending on the scent profile that you're going for. But I just want you to know that the natural vanilla is not creamy. It doesn't smell like what you expect vanilla to smell like. But then again, I think it also depends on the kind of vanilla, because maybe there are different types of vanilla. There's Madagascar vanilla, for instance, rose as well. There are different types types of rose: Bulgarian rose, there's Turkish rose. So depending on what you use, it might smell something completely different. So the next one I'm going to be debunking is patchouli. The first time I came in contact with patchouli was in Amani Sea, and I really thought that that was just the only way patchouli could smell. Amani Sea, I believe Angel from Mugle, they have this very tart patchouli. Obviously there's a lot of fruitiness in that, in those fragrances as well, but the patchouli I was getting was more on a sweet side, more on a sweet floral side. It wasn't smelling like my proper dirty patchouli. So that also opened my eyes into a different world of patchouli. Like, patchouli is not always dirty. I believe there's a patchouli leaf some people use in their fragrances. You know, people use different things. Sandalwood is also another very interesting note, and I always used to think that sandalwood was always creamy. Now, I'm not saying that that's wrong. Sandalwood can be creamy depending on what else is layered or mixed with it, but sandalwood can also be very dry, sometimes dusty, sometimes bright. In my recent experience with sandalwood, it always comes off dry rather than creamy, and that really kind of caught my mind, and it was very intriguing to me that there are different variations of sandalwood, different variations of vanilla, different variations of leather, you know. So yeah, I think that's all. Let me know what you guys think about the fragrance notes in me. I'm still exploring more notes, like trying to understand them in their natural forms and also in their synthetic forms. I think it's important to understand this, because then you can understand or appreciate the fragrances even more. Yeah, so if you've learned a thing or two, let me know in the comment section. And if you have other fragrance myths that you would like to debunk, please leave it in the comment section as well. I'm eager to know, because I'm constantly always learning. Every day there's something to learn in perfumery, I'm telling you, because different houses, you know, different unique stories, different types of ingredients that they use, natural, synthetic, amazing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if you're new to my channel, please do not leave without hitting the subscribe button. Make sure you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and your loved ones. You can also follow me on social media. I create more content on TikTok and on Instagram and also on X. So please follow me on there if you would like to see more fragrance content and also a bit of lifestyle in there. And thank you guys so much for sticking with me despite my inconsistencies. Really appreciate you guys a lot, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.